Hello students, welcome to the first lesson of the laptop motherboard chip level repairing course. In this lesson, you will understand the block diagram of the laptop motherboard and what are the ICs on the motherboard and sections which are controlled by the ICs. Come, let's go to the lesson. On a motherboard, there are four important ICs are present. The CPU which processes and executes the data given. The next one is the North Bridge IC or GMCH IC, and the other one is South Bridge IC or ICH IC, and the last one is Super IO IC or Embedded Controller IC. GMCH means Graphics Memory Controller Hub IC, controls all the speed processing sections such as display, RAM, VGA port, etc. GMCH is directly connected with the CPU in order to communicate with the CPU fastly. GMCH IC is also called North Bridge IC because the location of the IC is located in the north side of the motherboard. Also the locations of the IC is always near to the CPU. ICH or Input Output Controller Hub IC controls all the slow processing sections such as USB, serial port, audio sections, LAN, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, SATA hard disk, SATA optical drive disk and SD card. The IC connects with the CPU via North Bridge IC is also called South Bridge IC. The IO controller or embedded controller IC acts as a power controller of the motherboard. It controls and regulates the power supplies, fan, touchpad and keypad. Embedded controller BIOS is connected with the input output IC. EC BIOS has a firmware in it and it stores all the settings of the motherboard. The CPU initially accesses the BIOS IC and boots from it. If the BIOS firmware corrupts or is not working properly, the laptop cannot show any data on the display.